my curious and playful Gemini friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. Gemini, this week opens with a subtle ache beneath your words. You might feel a restlessness in your thoughts, a nearly silent debate playing out behind your eyes. There's a tension between what you show and what you hold back, a desire to be heard, but also the urge to keep things sharply defined and under control. It's as though you're weighing truth against comfort, measuring your next move with the precision of someone who knows how quickly the winds can change. The world around you may not notice the undercurrent, but it shapes every conversation and every pause. You know what it's like to sense the room, to listen intently, and to choose silence when it feels safer than saying too much. Yet underneath there is a longing for clarity, for the kind of honesty that cuts through confusion without leaving wounds behind. You may be holding a question inside, one that asks if it's time to speak, to stand firm, or to let go of something that no longer fits. The weight of this decision is real, even if you haven't named it out loud. This is the quiet tension that colors your world as the week begins, and it sets the stage for everything that follows. You carry yourself this week with a certain elegance, but also an unmistakable edge. The Queen of Swords appears in your reading, not as a distant figure, but as a reflection of your most discerning self. There's a crispness to the way you process what's happening around you, a refusal to accept half-truths or cloudy intentions. Underneath, you're driven by a need for clarity, precision, and a kind of emotional honesty that doesn't waste time on pretense. This inner state isn't coldness, it's protection, a boundary you've learned to draw after too many moments of being misunderstood or overlooked. You notice details others miss and pick up on shifts in mood with uncanny ease. Sometimes this makes it hard to relax, because you're always reading between the lines, listening for what's not being said. This week, you might find yourself more sharply aware of where you stand with others. Certain conversations leave you feeling exposed, and you may be tempted to retreat behind carefully chosen words. Yet there's part of you that wants to cut through the fog, to name what's real and let the chips fall where they may. You might sense a growing impatience with anything that feels deceptive or needlessly complicated. At the same time, you're aware of the cost of honesty, how it can create distance or invite conflict. This makes you careful, deliberate, and sometimes a bit guarded. Still, you can't ignore the pull toward truth. Even small moments, an offhand comment, a fleeting glance, can trigger the urge to clarify, to ask pointed questions, to hold yourself and others accountable. These impulses, while sometimes exhausting, are part of your integrity. They shape the way you navigate your relationships, your work, and even your own self-talk. The inner posture you hold is one of readiness, prepared for clarity, but also bracing for what might come if you truly speak your mind. This clarity, though, does not exist in a vacuum. The very precision you seek sets in motion the events of your week. The more honestly you look at your surroundings, the more you recognize what isn't working, what needs to be said, or what must be left behind. The tension of wanting truth but fearing the consequences creates a momentum all its own. It's as if each thought you clarify opens a new path, but also demands that something be released. This is not an easy process, but it's one you're already in the midst of, whether or not you've named it out loud. Your inner state becomes the current that pushes you forward, even as you hesitate at the shore of change. As the week unfolds, the 6 of Swords rises as your path. It's not a dramatic leap, but a gradual movement, a sense that something is shifting beneath your feet. You may feel a gentle but persistent pressure to move away from old patterns, outdated conversations, or even familiar places that no longer feel true to you. This isn't about escape, but about transition. There's friction in the air, a low-level discomfort that makes it harder to stay still. You might notice that certain routines are starting to chafe, or that interactions you once tolerated now feel heavy and tired. The world seems to be nudging you, quietly but insistently, toward a new landscape. This movement isn't always visible on the surface. You may find yourself drifting away from certain people, or losing interest in topics that once mattered deeply. There's a subtle grieving in this process, an acknowledgement that not everything can come with you as you seek greater clarity. At the same time, there's relief in letting go of what's become too heavy. The pressures you feel are not only external, they come from within, from the part of you that refuses to settle for less than what feels honest and alive. Choices present themselves in small ways: a conversation you postpone, a plan you revise, a truth you finally admit to yourself. Each decision seems to reinforce the sense that you're crossing a threshold, even if you can't quite see what's on the other side yet. There may be moments when you wonder if you're leaving too much behind, or if the discomfort is a sign to turn back. But the current keeps moving. The world around you changes in response to your choices, sometimes in unexpected ways. The path is not without its rough patches, but it carries you forward, carrying both the weight of what's ending and the hope of what's yet to come. The movement is real, even if it feels slow. There's a sense of inevitability, a feeling that once you've named what's true, you can't quite return to how things were before. The pressure to keep going comes from within, shaped by your longing for something more honest, more alive, more you. Still, the potential of this week isn't predetermined. Everything hinges on how you meet this moment, on whether you choose to engage with what's shifting, or try to hold things together by force of will alone. The movement you're experiencing asks something of you: presence, courage, and a willingness to let things be unsettled for a while. Your experience will be colored by how gently or fiercely you allow these changes to unfold. The more consciously you walk through this transition, the more space you create for something new to emerge, even if you don't yet know what that is. The tower shows up here as your potential, not as a threat, but as an invitation to see what can grow when the old structures fall away. This isn't about chaos for its own sake, or dramatic endings that leave only loss behind. Instead, it's a recognition that sometimes the ground must shake for new life to take root. There may be moments this week when things feel uncertain, when the familiar is stripped away and you're left standing in the rawness of what's real. In those moments, there's an opportunity, not for easy comfort, but for a kind of freedom that comes only when you finally let go of what no longer serves. Growth here is not about building something new right away, but about allowing space for truth to settle. You may feel exposed, vulnerable, or even a little bit lost as you step into unfamiliar territory. Yet, this vulnerability is fertile ground. When you allow yourself to witness what is crumbling without rushing to fix or replace it, you give yourself permission to start again with greater clarity. There's a quiet strength in accepting that not everything endures, and that sometimes breakdown is the first step toward genuine transformation. The tower's invitation is simple, if not always easy. Trust that what is real will remain, and that what falls away was never truly yours to hold. In this openness, you make room for new forms of connection, understanding, and self-respect. The path is uncertain, but your willingness to stand in the midst of change is what shapes the future, one real moment at a time. This week weaves together three powerful threads: the clarity you bring, the movement that clarity sets in motion, and the transformation that becomes possible when you meet change with open eyes. The Queen of Swords helps you name what's true, not as a weapon, but as a tool for honest living. The Six of Swords reminds you that transition, while sometimes uncomfortable, is a natural response to outgrowing what no longer fits, and the Tower offers the chance to align your life more closely with what matters most, even if that means letting go of old certainties. By leaning into this process, you create a life that feels more honest, more alive, and more deeply your own. There is reassurance here. Even in moments of upheaval, you are not adrift. Each choice you make, no matter how small, helps you build a sense of integrity that cannot be shaken by outside forces. The discomfort of change is real, but it is also the birthplace of growth. As the week comes to a close, you may find that what felt like loss is also a clearing, a space where something new, true, and resilient can take root. In the end, you are left with yourself, clear-eyed, steady, and ready to meet whatever comes next with dignity and grace. Actionable insights for Gemini this week. Let a quiet moment of honesty settle in, even if only with yourself. Try stepping back from a familiar routine to see what feels lighter. Notice what conversations leave you feeling more clear, and gently give those space. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I can face what is real, even when it stings. Each day I become more honest with myself. My strength is in my willingness to let go. I trust that what remains is truly mine. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.